The ANC Johannesburg Regional Conference is currently underway, with contestations for leadership positions top of mind for the likes of Regional Chairperson Dada Morero and Deputy Regional Secretary Loyiso Masuku. SABC News Reporter Mbalenhle Mthethwa is monitoring events and joins us now live. Mbalenhle, we understand that voting was meant to take place today on the second day of that regional conference, and tomorrow would be the third day. Take us through the program of the day and what had transpired.
Well, certainly voting has not started, and you will remember yesterday when we did hold an interview with the current chairperson, and he had said that by now we would at least know what was happening in terms of the race for the coveted position of the regional chairperson. But so far, not even the nominations have been held. But I'm joined by someone who's going to give us a sense of what we can expect. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us. Explain to us what is happening and why is it that there's been a delay with regards to voting?
As you recall, immediately after the organizational report that we received from the regional coordinator or secretary, we then break for supper or dinner. And parallel to that, we then agreed that the steering committee, which is the conference committee, should go and deal with the outstanding issues. The steering committee had dealt with the issues of credentials because they have to be dealt with by steering committee. And as I'm talking to you now, the steering committee has done its work, has completed that. That report must go to plenary, as we're going to go to plenary now. And that report is now going to be presented to plenary. And once agreed upon, we will then take discussions on the three reports. The remarks by the chair or the political report of the chair, the secretary report and the treasurer's report. And once that have been completed, the electioneering committee will then come on board to deal with issues of nominations, confirms the nominations, and also taking us to voting. And all of this would happen tonight.
It seems it's going to be a very long night, given that it's already 10 p.m. in the evening, and the nominations haven't taken place. And this means that there is a likelihood that voting will take place in the early hours of the morning. When can Johannesburg residents perhaps expect results?
The results would be issued out in the morning because immediately after the voting, there's going to be counting. And as you properly indicate, if you look at the issues of time, we would have to give delegates time to go. And firstly, as the voting proceeds, we're going to be having commissions, but they will not be able to complete everything else because we've got to give them time to go and refresh, rest, and come in the morning to deal with the contents of the conference, which is the commissions and the commission report later in the afternoon before the end of the conference itself, so that the resident of Johannesburg would know which direction is this conference taking in terms of issues of service delivery and policy-related issues as we prepare to go to the NGC itself.
Okay. And now, with regards to the reports that have been presented by the incumbent, the chairperson's report, the secretary, the regional secretary's report, and all the other incumbent office bearers, what do you make of the years that have passed and their performance in those years?
Well, the reports indicate one thing. The first thing that they indicate that there's been good performance insofar as stabilizing the municipality of Johannesburg, because at some point we were in a turbulent situation where there was no proper direction as to who actually is leading the municipality. You will recall there was a time where the municipality was led by minority parties and all of those kind of things. That has since been sorted out, that has since been stabilized. Linked to that is our ability, for instance, to host the G20 and the kind of work that we did insofar as the preparations of the G20 is concerned. But linked to that was immediately the service delivery, cleaning of the town, ensuring that we formalize the informal trading within the town itself, and the fact that we need to sustain that. What the delegates appreciated is the fact that we can get into an election, in the service delivery mode, and that service delivery mode must be sustained, so that it must not be seen as it was about G20 and so on. It should be the way of life, the way of doing things in the city of Johannesburg. Delegates really appreciated that, and they indicated that in their commission they will indicate as to how best we can sustain that particular model that the municipality under the leadership of Dada Morero was able, and members of Mayoral Committee were able to sustain.
Now, are you pleased with the manner in which everything has been handled? I know you are playing an oversight role from the province as a representative from the provincial government of the ANC. What do you make of what you have seen so far?
We're happy thus far. We're just concerned that we've not been able to stick to our time frames as indicated in the program itself. But with respect to the content, we are very happy, particularly as it came from the political report, because if you look at the issues of the political report, the chairperson would have indicated the journey that we've traveled, what are the difficulties that we face as an organization, what is it that we need to do in order to overcome those particular challenges. And that report was further articulated by the report of the secretary. There was consistency between the two reports, particularly as it relates to issues of service delivery. But the secretary would have also emphasized on the issues of renewal, the kind of the ANC that we need. But what is more important is that there are specific recommendations that are coming from both reports insofar as the NGC of the ANC is concerned, particularly as it relates to policy-related matters that needs to be discussed in the NGC itself. The Secretary General would have came and also addressed some of the key challenges that we're faced up with, and one of those challenges would be the relationship that we have with the South African Communist Party, primarily on what the implications are if the party has to go its own way and the ANC has to go its own way. We have not reached that stage as yet, because that report is also going to be engaged in the NGC itself. But from the report we received, it is very clear that in the last meeting of the two organizations, the ANC and the party, they could not find each other in respect, insofar as that issue is concerned.
Okay. And now that would be happening in an environment where it seems as though the ANC is losing ground in terms of votes during elections. And if the national elections are anything to go by, where the ANC dipped below 50% for the first time in the national elections, and we remember the 2021 local government elections, do you perhaps feel that if the SACP or the tripartite alliance were to really collapse or go their separate ways, as you put it, that would affect the numbers even further?
Well, we call that the strategic setback. We call it a setback of some kind, at which we do believe that as an ANC we will recover from that. However, the reality is that if you look at amongst others why we find ourselves where we are, it's because of these breakaways from Cope until where we are. The other one was the MKP. So any breakaway has a negative impact insofar as the ANC performance on elections is concerned. That is why our position as African National Congress is that the alliance should remain intact, and that the SACP should not part ways with the ANC insofar as the elections are concerned. Because there's a contradiction in terms there where people are saying, no, we want the alliance to remain in place, however we are contesting elections. I was saying to one of my comrades that it's almost like a Zoom Zuma saying, I want my membership of the ANC, but I'm with the MKP. It doesn't really make logical sense, which is the issue. Those are some of the implications that we need to look at it. At the core of it is that any breakaway does impact negatively on the African National Congress, and we can't afford any breakaway.
Thank you so much. There you have it. That is the provincial PTT spokesperson speaking to us on the proceedings that are taking place behind us. As you have heard, there are some delays with regards to the nomination process as well as the voting process, but it seems as though it's going to be a very long night for the delegates who are here for this conference, and residents can expect to get results tomorrow, perhaps on day 3 of the conference. For now, it's back to you in studio.
Mbalenhle, thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. Mbalenhle Mthethwa coming to us live from the ANC's regional conference taking place where voting seemingly has been delayed. We're going to take a break. We continue on the other side of this.